Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. Uh, this is my first YouTube video ever. This is my first vlog ever. So bear with me as I get better at this, and as time goes on, and as I even kind of figure out what this vlog is. But this is something that I've really wanted to do and really wanted to get started, but have put off for a while. It's something I told some other people I would do. So here it is. Here's my first video. So as you can see from the title below, I am starting this vlog and starting this video to announce my attempt at through hiking the Appalachian Trail, starting 2 weeks from yesterday by the time I get this video out. So, whoa. So first things first, I only have 125 days. That's how much time I have off from work. I have a job that I like and that I don't want to get rid of, like a lot of people do before they do this hike. So I only have 125 days. So I have a rather aggressive timetable compared to the average. It'll definitely be a shorter hike, shorter-ish hike than a lot of other people will do this. So that's just the timetable I have. I'll go as far as I can in the time that I have. If that gets me all the way to Mount Katahdin, awesome. If not, I'll just kind of see where I end up and kind of go from there. But that's all the time I have. Ella's wondering, but why the Appalachian Trail? Why that kind of all of a sudden? I know for some it's going to seem like it comes out of the blue. There's a couple different pieces to it. It started about 3.5 years ago when my wife took me to see the movie Wild, actually. That movie, for some reason, I don't know why, just kind of planted the seed. Long distance trail is something that I might want to actually try someday. From there, that led to an audiobook that she and I listened to in the car on the way down to see some family. We live in Tallahassee, going to Melbourne, I think it was, and we listened to that book. At least I listened to that book and tore through it, and that really introduced me to the idea of through hiking the AT all at once. It wasn't something I really even thought about before then. So that was kind of the first thing, and then from there that led to another book, which led to another book, which led to a dozen other books, which led to 2 dozen other books, which led to trailjournals.com, which led to YouTube and vlogs like this one, which has inspired me to start this, and a bunch of other stuff. And I started researching gear and really getting into this whole thing before I even knew I wanted to through hike or attempt to through hike. I just started gobbling up as much as I could. But why did that happen? Why did that kind of take hold so suddenly, the idea of a through hike? Well, it's a couple different things. For me, I've always wanted that grand adventure. Sure, we've had my wife and I, and even before I met my wife, I've had a lot of great vacations, a lot of great adventures, but nothing this big. And I've always enjoyed reading books to that effect. One of my favorite books as a little kid was The Hatchet by Gary Paulson. Just the idea of having to survive in the wilderness. I mean, I loved it. Loved the sequel, The River, and some of the other sequels from there on. Other movies like that, Into the Wild, a whole bunch of others. Just that idea has always fascinated me. And I think that the first time when I saw Wild, that was the first time I really thought of, oh wow, there's these long distance trails that you can go do. That might be something that can fill this thing for me. Is something that I've wanted to do, this grand adventure that seemed much more attainable than something ridiculous like climbing Mount Everest or something other that I would never be able to do either for financial reasons or physically or anything else. The next thing is that I never thought I'd be able to take a grand adventure because when I was a freshman in high school, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. So that's something I've had to deal with and struggle with throughout my entire life. And it really is something that I've had to struggle with. Having the disease is something that has affected all aspects of my life. my social life, my work life, relationships, just everything. I've had missed events because of a flare. I've had some surgeries I've had from the disease. Um, and not just events, just different experiences, and it just kind of put me in a mindset that I couldn't do something like hike the Appalachian Trail. I just couldn't. I had too many other considerations, and even before then, when I was really young, I mean, the fact that I was diagnosed with Crohn's, I don't think it took me a lot of years to come to terms with the fact that I have a diagnosis of a chronic disease that I need to manage. I just ignored it for a while. I'll admit, when I was younger, I just ignored it. I just lived my life, didn't keep up with my medications and my treatment plans as much as I should have, which probably led to other flares of the disease. But that's something that I really struggled with. Every time I recovered from a flare, I always heard from people that like, oh, you're I can't believe you recovered from that. That's so great. Look at you now, et cetera, et cetera. And I always kind of took it in stride, like, yeah, thank you, thank you. But in the back of my mind, every time, yeah, I recovered, but I felt like, there was a little piece of my life that I missed. Whether that be specific events or just periods of time. And I knew it was my fault sometimes, because if I had taken care of myself from the beginning, maybe I wouldn't have had that other flare. And it was something, it is still something that I struggle with every day. I have to think about, managing my disease and the fact that I have it. Fortunately, after my last flare, I got put on a drug called Humira. And Humira has been a lifesaver for me. I am now healthier than I have ever been, and it has put me in a position where I can actually consider an adventure like this. Um, so, and hopefully, an adventure like this will give me the time to reflect and kind of put some of those personal demons that I just talked about to rest as kind of a personal pilgrimage of mine, kind of attacking this disease and coming to terms with the fact that I have it and I've managed it, and now I can do these sorts of things. And come to terms with, I've largely because of my disease, I'm not really that spiritual of a person. Sometimes I like to think I am, but I'm really not, if I'm honest with myself. Um, and maybe this hike will give me a chance to come to terms with that and come to terms with, God giving me this disease that I have to deal with. This hike is really fitting a lot of different, just kind of came at the right time and is fitting a lot of different pieces together for me as something that more than just something that I want to do. It feels like something that I need to do to become a better man, a better person. A better husband, a better employee, and eventually a better father than that I would be up and otherwise. I just don't think that without this I'll be able to be the best person that I can be. Yeah, see, Ella's giving me a little 11. So as you can tell, it's still something that I'm working through and still trying to figure out how to express it. And maybe this hike will give me a chance to come up with some better words, and maybe I'll share that with everyone as I go forward and have more of a chance to think about it and try to figure out how this hike is fitting into my life and everything else. But right now, all I know is that it's something that I need to do. And fortunately, I have an incredibly encouraging, supportive, awesome wife who probably recognized before I did that this is something that I needed to try. Whether or not I complete it or not, just the fact that I'm getting everything ready to go and doing it um, means so much. And I think that she recognized that um, about me before I did. And I have to thank her for that. Because if it wasn't for her and the sacrifice that she's going to make while I'm away, I wouldn't be doing this. And it wouldn't, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have built up the courage to start talking to the folks at work about doing this, because taking 4 months off for 125 days is a long time. And but fortunately, she convinced me to do that, and blessed that the people at work, as soon as I started talking with them about it, everyone was incredibly supportive and said, "Yeah, go do it. Absolutely. Like, here you go. Here's how we can help." And I think this is great and everything else. So, which I was blown away by. And because of all that, support at home and everything, it's going to be really hard to leave my job and friends and these wonderful dogs. You can see Ella here snoring away, and my beautiful wife, beautiful, talented wife, who's um, you know. Uh, Making this happen for me and is really going to help me, sending me packages and everything. So, and my parents, who have supported me throughout everything that I've done in my life. But when I threw this at them, they just said, "That's great. There you go." And all the other family that I've had, um, but both my family and my wife's family that I've married into is such a great family. Everyone has been really, really supportive. Different questions here or there, of course, and making sure I'll be okay and why are you doing this and everything. But everyone's been great. Um, so there we go. And that's it. I'm hiking the Appalachian Trail, or Appalachian Trail, as we say down here in the South. And yeah, hon, I did say we here in the South. So over the next couple of weeks, as we race toward my start date, I'm going to try to put out a few other videos going through all my gear, and maybe some of my hike planning stuff. It just depends on how much time I have before we get started, and it is coming quick. So thanks a lot, everyone, and I hope you follow along. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.